Akeem Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all.
Only 17 states in the country have enacted pension laws.
In this package, House of Representatives wants all tiers of government and the private sector to key into the contributory pension scheme.
By way of either enacting a revision or amending the existing act.
And lawmakers have pledged legislative support to ensure greater utilization of the nation's ICT sector. Many thanks for tuning in again to the program House Ticket, a window into the activities of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. In this package, lawmakers call for investigation into the £6.2 million looted funds recovered from a former governor, calling for its proper utilization. Security issues, constitutional amendment, economic matters, digital advancement are among other matters deliberated upon by our lawmakers in the week under review. Stay tuned for reports on these and many more when the program begins fully after this short break. Don't go away.
If we set our minds right, embrace each other in love and brotherhood, we will come through these troubling times. We will survive, we will recover, and then we will thrive. One nation under God, free, peaceful, and prosperous.
In the weekend review, the House of Representatives sat for 2 days, being Tuesday 9th and Wednesday 10th March 2021. This is in keeping with COVID-19 protocols adopted by the House to curtail the spread of the virus. And even though it also restricts its stay in enclosed areas to the barest minimum, it was able to attend to matters of urgent national importance. In this first segment of the program, we'll review chamber proceedings for these 2 days, reporting bills and motions debated and resolutions taken on them. Please stay tuned.
The Deputy Speaker presided over plenary of Wednesday the 10th of March 2021. On that day, several bills seeking the establishment of federal universities were passed at second reading, some of which originated from the Senate. They include a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Education, Kwantagora, Niger State, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Mutumbiu, Taraba State, and a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the University of Agriculture and Technology, Okeogun, Oyo State. The bills have been referred to the Committee of the Whole House for more legislative work. The House also considered a bill for an act to provide for the registration and regulation of lobbyists in the legislative houses in Nigeria and for related matters. Sponsored by the Minority Leader of the House, Ndudi Elumelu, the bill seeks to generate means of professionals to engage in the art of lobbying, a worldwide practice that is already in place.
The essence of the bill is to have lobbyists whose primary responsibility will be to either interface with various committees and be able to ensure that whatever bill that has been sent to them is properly put together at the right time, at the proper time, not any other thing. There is no any special under any motive.
Aside that, he gave more explanations on the profession of lobbying itself, as well as clearing the air on the negative perceptions associated with lobbying.
I've had calls of people sending me bills and begging that I should please put it before the House for their bills to sail through. That is the work of the lobbyists.
There was no further debate on the bill and it scaled second reading.
Those in favor of the bill will second time say aye. Against any, that's it.
On motions taken same Wednesday, there was a matter of urgent public importance sponsored by the Minority Leader of the House and 9 other representatives from Delta State. It was titled urgent need to halt appropriation of £4.2 million looted funds recovered from a former governor of Delta State by the federal government.
Assets seized by EFCs from states were returned to such states, i.e. Bayelsa, Abia, and other states. Worried that if federal government is allowed to appropriate the funds without recourse to the Delta State government, the people of Delta State will be shortchanged, deprived of their legitimate resources to improve on the economy of the state, as well as provide the requisite infrastructural development for their benefit.
Being investigative in nature, the motion passed voting without a debate on it. In the resolutions adopted on the motion, the House urged the federal government of Nigeria through the Ministries of Finance and Justice to stop forthwith further appropriation and disbursement of a £6.2 million looted funds recovered from a former governor of Delta State by the federal government, pending the final determination of the matter by the legislature. Request the Federal Ministry of Finance and Attorney General of the Federation to furnish the House with all particulars relating to the recovered money. While committees on treaties, agreements and protocols, finance, justice and aids, loans and debt management have also been mandated to investigate the matter and revert back to the House in 2 weeks.
In favor of the motion, say aye. Against, say nay. That is it.
A motion slated on the order paper for that Wednesday called on government to address the recurring attacks by Boko Haram terrorists in Maiduguri. The motion cited the recent attacks of 23rd of February 2021 to drive home its advocacy.
The attack was one of the most daring as terrorists indiscriminately launched rockets into the city, which inflicted mass destruction on the populace, which resulted in the death of 16 people, with about 60 others sustaining various degrees of injuries, and are currently receiving treatment in various health facilities across the city, while many others suffer losses and damages to properties.
There was an amendment made to the prayers of the motion.
Call on the federal government to strongly consider the compelling need to rehire foreign mercenaries to work with the Nigerian military in crushing insurgency and banditry in Nigeria.
Another prayer of the motion urged the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials to the victims of the attack and other interventions to all that suffered losses and damages to their property. The motion was adopted.
Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Against, say nay. That is it.
Another motion passed called for the full implementation of the contributory pension scheme by the 3 tiers of government and the private sector. It was sponsored by 4 lawmakers.
Compliance with the Pension Reform Act 2014 has remained low. 5 out of the 36 states of the Federation are yet to remit workers' pension, and that only 17 states in the country have enacted pension laws.
The resolution of the House on the motion mandated the Committee on Pensions to investigate the extent of implementation of the contributory pension scheme across the 36 states of the Federation. The House also called on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, urge states and local government councils to ensure full implementation of the contributory pension scheme in line with the guidelines set out by the National Pension Commission. The Committee on Pensions has been given 4 weeks to conduct the investigations and report back its findings on the matter.
Airport, Kano,
The call for the reopening of the international wing of the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, for international flight operation was made via a motion sponsored by the House Leader and 36 other lawmakers.
And all other airports across the country, even those of minimum impact and relevance, have since reopened. It therefore calls to the question why an airport of this historical profile, importance and economic status and significance is being kept out of operation.
The motion scaled voting, with the House adopting the prayers to mandate the House Committee on Aviation to interface with the Ministry of Aviation to, without further delay, take measures to reopen the international airports in Kano, Port Harcourt and Enugu states, and urge the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to instruct for the immediate reopening of the international wings of the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, Enugu and Port Harcourt International Airports respectively. Plenary for Tuesday, 9th of March 2021 was suspended in honor of late Representative Hassan Yuguda Kila, who passed away Thursday, the 4th of March 2021. Brief speeches were said in memory of the late lawmaker, whose exemplary character was praised. His colleagues described him as a dedicated statesman, a detribalized Nigerian, and a peacemaker.
Honorable Kila was loved by all, had no enemies, was a gentleman, and we will greatly miss him.
We have lost a perfect gentleman, a peacemaker, a shock absorber. But like others have said, God knows why he has taken him this early, especially at the moment when this institution, the House of Representatives, might have needed much more of people of his time.
He believed in me. We work any assignment we carry out outside, I will come and give him reports fully. One day he said, your type of deputy is very rare. We work like a family. Today is like I lost a father.
Whenever there's an altercation between two or more members, you always intervene as an elderly man to calm nerves. He has never complained about what affects him directly.
Late lawmaker Hassan Kila represented Gwaram Federal Constituency of Jigawa State under the All Progressives Congress Party APC. He was a federal lawmaker from 2015 to 2021. Until his death, he was the chairman, House Committee on Customs and Excise of the 9th House. A minute's silence and prayers were offered for the repose of his soul.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin.
You are watching House Ticket. We'll take events outside the chamber on this segment, starting with recent events of the Constitution Review Committee chaired by the Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wasi. The ad hoc committee received the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria. The royal fathers were in the legislature to advocate that the role of traditional institutions be reinstated in the ongoing review of the 1999 Constitution by the 9th National Assembly. The Esunepe, His Royal Highness Brigadier General Yahaya Abubakar retired, led the delegation to the House on behalf of the Council. A memorandum was presented to the lawmakers where the Council said that the reinstatement of the traditional system in the Constitution, as advocated by the Council, would be of relevance to the fight against insecurity currently faced by the nation.
Nigeria's major areas of conflict today are on religion, ethnicity, and land resources. Their official involvement will improve and instill confidence and fairness in the security and justice systems. This will no doubt lead to states, regional and national peace, security, prosperity.
The Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution, in response, reaffirmed the role of the traditional institutions in community development and security advancement in general. He also promised the lawmakers consideration of the memorandum submitted by the Council.
All of us are aware that we may not have been the problem where we are of insecurity if we have taken care of what the traditional institutions should have been doing adequately and well done in the space of what it used to be. From our various local communities, we know that no person will become an intruder into any community without the permission of the leaders. But today what we have is ejection order, which possibly, if you are adequately involved, this ejection order may not be coming from any community. By that, I'm going to say that I believe that you have a role to play in securing our land. You have a role to play in keeping us united. You have a role to play in even dispensing government functions in this country. Even when government builds infrastructure, we need it protected. And then the host community remain relevant in terms of what should be done to protect the various infrastructure. I want to assure you that we shall do just by the grace of God to this submission.
Away from the National Assembly's complex to an oversight function by the Joint Committee on ICT and Cybercrime of the House and Senate, the lawmakers were on an oversight function to Galaxy Backbone Limited, an agency of government. The committee was received by the management of the agency of the National Shared Service Center. During the oversight, lawmakers discussed ways of exploring the unending opportunities that come with digital information technology and cybersecurity, which is a major area of interest for the Ninth House. The lawmakers inspected the data center where more information on the agency's activities and achievements were enumerated. They also sought information on modalities put in place by government to achieve that. There were questions on capacity and potential utilization of the agency as well as quality of service.
We've really gone around some MDAs. We noticed that most of them are patronizing private sectors, while you have everything with you here. And the rate at which they are owing you still, I don't think they are owing private sector like that. So my question now is this. Are we trying to bring down this place while we are patronizing other private sectors? Yet we are paying them, but paying our own is a problem.
NICTIP issue, which is really supposed to be a leveler, where it's provide broadband to almost all local government, I believe is not being pushed vigorously enough. So much so that we'd like to see a situation where we compare where we were 10 years ago and where we are now. And I'm not talking about MTN and the other global, what they have done. What you have done as Galaxy, and what are your plans to ensure that we have broadband connectivity?
What is the number of MDAs that have keyed into this Galaxy Backbone project? Because it is key. You see that in the budget every year, you still see MDAs still making provision for themselves on issues with respect to ICT. So let us know the MDAs that have not keyed. Let's see how we can use the bucket to make them key into the program.
A reaction by the managing director summed up answers relating to funding in reply to the questions regarding quality service, amongst others.
We truly believe that the funding as it is not commensurate to what we want to see in our MDAs. That is just the truth. Okay, so notwithstanding all other things, so it's a dependency. We have to look at all the different components, then before we can just pinpoint to a particular whatever and say this is where the problem is. And that is what we have been doing in Galaxy, because we have already realized all those kind of things. There are also issues of the sabotage. Because the MDAs, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say it. The MDAs, a law, you have come up with a law. See, don't put on in money for so types of ICTs. It's going to be collapsed into one, and then it will be provided as a share, whatever. And these MDAs feel you are shortchanging them. You are reducing whatever they have in those particular areas. So now ultimately, they will try to get back.
There were more questions this time around on revenue generation and source of power supply.
Now you are using the national grid, which virtually is either the hydro or whatever. And then, or you use your thermal generating plant. Now, suppose in the near future, probably in a decade, and we have gone solar, is there any provision or interface that the existing structure should be in a way to interface and then take from the solar like it is taken from the either thermal or the hydro now? That's my question.
If we can also project in the future, incorporate the issue of the solar into it, I believe it will also reduce a lot of cost on our side. So it's something that we are working on now. So
from the document, we also noticed that between 2016 to 2019, the revenue generation that was submitted to the House was less than $1 million. Why is that?
We are saying is so much underfunded. Over the years, when the issue of services has started to come up, the issue of annual service contract, when it was felt that we are going to give you so money, we were saying it was the same money that always is being given to Galaxy Backbone all these years, despite the fact that the demand for the services of the Galaxy was increasing.
At the end of the visit, the Joint Committee concluded that there is need for full utilization of the capacity of Galaxy Backbone Limited. The lawmakers therefore urged the agency to seek parliamentary support in achieving its mandate effectively. They also resolved to set up a subcommittee that will engage Galaxy Backbone on ways of attaining the global digital transformation agenda by 2025.
By way of either enacting a bill or amending the existing act that established the Galaxy Backbone, so that by compelling this MDS and ministry, and also to find a way out for Galaxy Backbone how to get their services paid, either direct from the Ministry of Finance or from the budget of this MDS.
When House Ticket returns after the break, we'll take a trip to the federal constituencies for an economic empowerment outreach for the people. Please stay tuned.
The 2021 Empowerment Outing for the people of Wase Federal Constituency of Plateau State was organized by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ahmad Idris Wase. The special day saw the provision of a number of empowerment items ranging from farming to skills acquisition to the transport sector and others in the food processing business. In this regard, the farmers of Wase Federal Constituency received various types of farming equipment and empowerment tools. The items include 10 motor tractors, 50 hand tractors, 30 farm motorcycles, 19 rice millers, 60 maize threshers, and 80 hand sprayers. For those in fashion designing, 800 women beneficiaries took home a sewing machine each. Other items distributed to women in the food processing industry include 500 grinding machines. 500 beneficiaries in the transport business got a motorcycle each. A symbolic presentation was made to beneficiaries cutting across the 4 districts of Wase Federal Constituency, which are Wase, Bashar, Lamba, and Kaderko, as well as some members of Plateau State in other jurisdictions of the state. The Deputy Speaker was represented at the occasion by his Chief of Staff, Dr. Aminu Malle.
Congratulations, congratulations. Say, Alaji, Honorable Abbas Zeko.
The message of the Deputy Speaker at the occasion encouraged constituents to utilize the opportunity of the empowerment scheme, especially with job losses being recorded worldwide due to economic disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The empowerment is therefore a means of giving back to the people to cushion the effects and minimize the hardships on the common man.
This year, 2021, has seen significant increase in the items to be distributed as well as the quantities of the items. This is due to the desire of the Deputy Speaker to ensure that the evidence of the reaches all the nooks and crannies of Wase Federal Constituency as well as assist cushioning the current economic conflict that was amplified worldwide by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Deputy Speaker calls on all religious leaders to preach the virtues of peaceful coexistence among their followers, as well as cautioning their followers in general, the youth in particular, and on the dangers of substance abuse and all other negative vices. Lastly, the Deputy Speaker calls on total vigilance on the side of all communities and traditional authorities for the sustenance of peaceful coexistence among one another and maintenance of peace and security in general.
The state governor and the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly were represented, as well as other political allies, amongst others. Speeches at the occasion praised the exemplary leadership of the Deputy Speaker to his people and his service to the nation.
yana samu consensus announcement. Yanzu mun kira su a waya ba su doka ba. Yau Monday has focused on Wase and Plateau and North Central and Nigeria. Bai nuna mana bambanci ba, bai kamata mu nuna masa bambanci ba. In dai zai iya barin Josis zo nan sai a ce wani kurkusa nan bai zo ba kaga bai ba. Inda ce za a iya babu aron mace. In mun ba an babu aron yana shan gaba shi ne dole mu ga babu Ayuba na bin bayan sa. Plateau ta canza, Najeriya ta canza.
The National Institute for Cultural Orientation, a government agency, was also on ground to witness the empowerment scheme.
And we actually witnessed what the Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives has done for his community, and we believe that with this, his community will be well empowered. And the distribution was evenly done. There was no discrimination irrespective of tribe, religion, or there was nothing like tribalism at all. And we've been here about 3 times to witness the supervision of these items for empowerment. And it's indeed a good progress in the right direction. And all amounts allocated for the distribution for these things that my institute came to inspect were done creditably well.
Beneficiaries, on the other hand, were excited over the noble gesture of the Deputy Speaker. They promised maximum utilization of the opportunity, recognizing the need to support leaders at all levels in eradicating poverty in the country.
As you can see, there is many things, items that is distributed to people, you understand? So even through this, we from Wase, we appreciate, and then by God's grace, next time we bought him again, so that maybe he will add more about what he's doing to people right now.
Ahmed Idris Maji is the first person under politics or political system to assist the people of Wase local government, not Wase only. And we appreciate on what he is trying to give us here as a result of what we have done since.
This is going to be an explosive impact on the lives, particularly the economic lives of our people. And if you know Wase very well, it's an agrarian society. And most of the items are agro-related implements, and I'm sure they are going to put them to the best use.
This is where we come to the end of the package. Many thanks for sharing your time with us. Until next time, enjoy the rest of the day.